Brian Evans with AmnestyUSA.org. Amnesty International USA is on the line with us. Campaigner in the Troy Davis case and the campaign to abolish the death penalty with Amnesty International. Brian, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
I understand Troy Davis's appeal before the Georgia Board of,
Pardons and Paroles.
Pardons and Paroles. Yesterday was turned down, which means that he is scheduled for execution tomorrow, even though all but two of the witnesses against him have recanted their testimony, one of those two being the guy that everybody else says did it, and that there is absolutely no physical evidence or DNA or murder weapon or anything to associate this guy with this crime. They're still going to put him to death. Do I have all that right?
You have that about right, yes. And it was really an appalling decision when you have a case, and one of the reasons so many people have latched onto this case is it's just so obvious that there's a problem here, and the only people that can't seem to see it are the people in the Georgia justice system. So
is there any last-minute option that our listeners and viewers can do? I mean, is it a call to the governor's office, a call to the Supreme Court? I mean, is there anything that we can do?
I mean, we're encouraging people to continue to, write or call the Board of Pardons and Paroles, and also the district attorney in Savannah, who could ask for the judge who signed the death warrant to vacate the death warrant, just to give Georgia more time to rethink their decision to go down this terrible path. But in terms of realistic options to stop this execution, I think we're probably out.
Who is the district attorney in Savannah?
District attorney, his name is Larry Chisholm. We have an action up on our website. If you go to justicefortroy.org, you'll find the action there.
Okay. And so justicefortroy.org would be the website to use.
That's the easier one to remember.
Yeah, justicefortroy.org. And this is... I'm assuming that at some point his case had been before the Supreme Court and they simply decided they chose not to hear it.
What the Supreme Court did in 2009 was actually kind of extraordinary. He submitted what's called an original habeas petition,
right?
Which the court had not granted one of those in over 50 years, and they actually gave Troy Davis a hearing based on that down in Savannah. But the standard that the judge was told to use was that he had to prove his innocence by a clear and convincing proof of innocence. And when in a case all you have are witnesses from a 20-year-old case, there was just no way to do that. So he's sort of stuck in this limbo because the case was so weak, but that he was convicted by that weak evidence. Now the evidence is too weak for him to be able to exonerate himself.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Finish your sentence.
No, the machinery of the death penalty, for those of us who live in the South and in Texas and Georgia, it's like a runaway train. Once it gets started, it's almost impossible to stop it without some DNA or videotape confession of somebody else saying they committed the crime.
Right. Unless, especially if it's an African American. I'm curious. Troy Davis is black. What was the jury?
The jury was, there were several African Americans on the jury. It was not an all-white jury or anything like that. I think in this particular case, because the victim was a police officer, a lot of times when a police force loses one of their own, they adopt what is called tunnel vision. And the guy who other people think committed the crime, the one of the two witnesses, actually went to the police and told them that Troy Davis did it. And then they decided that was it. And then they focused only on him, and they focused on getting him convicted, and they never even treated this other guy as a suspect, even though he was at the scene, even though there are many witnesses have come forward who said he had a gun that night and all sorts of other evidence that never came up at trial because they never treated him as a suspect.
And that guy is walking free today.
He's around, he's in Savannah somewhere.
Huh. And, wow. This is, if there ever was a case for there not being a death penalty, this is right up there at the top of the list. Yeah,
I think what this case has showed with the hundreds of thousands of people taking action is that people are frustrated that our criminal justice system is so bureaucratic and also behaves as if there's no possibility of mistake or just make any room for error or doubt. And if you do have a system that just will move forward without acknowledging the possibility of doubt, you can't have a punishment that you can't reverse. You can't have executions under a system like that.
Right. And arguably, if you want to have a civilized nation, you shouldn't have executions at all.
The
website again, justicefortroy.org.
O-R-G, yes.
.org. Justice, JUSTICEFORTROY.org. Are there other? We're talking with Brian Evans, a campaigner in the Troy Davis case, the campaign to abolish the death penalty with Amnesty International, justicefortroy.org and amnestyusa.org. Brian, assuming that Troy Davis goes to his death tomorrow, where do we go from here?
Well, as I said, this outpouring of hundreds of thousands of people, we need to keep this momentum. Even if we don't actually stop this execution, we've started a movement, I believe. And this energy needs to be turned to the state level for people whose states still have the death penalty, which are 34 out of the 50 states,
right,
to work as hard as we can to abolish the death penalty in our states, wherever we may live, so that there won't be any more Troy Davises. Yeah,
we stand alone with a very small number of very, us and Saudi Arabia and Iran, and I mean, there's China, the states that have the death penalty. I mean, it's not a long list any longer.
Yeah, the states that use the death penalty, they're usually around 20 or so countries that execute every year, and the U.S. is always one of the top 5 executors, along with countries like the ones you mentioned.
Amazing. Yeah, I was going to Reagan National Airport over the weekend. And as I came down the walkway, here's this giant sign that says, "Welcome to the United States of America, home of 5% of the world's population and 25% of the world's prisoners."
That's right.
Yeah.
That's the kind of justice system we need to change, one that just has more humanity in it. It's not just this machine for killing.
Brian, we're out of time. Justicefortroy.org, the website. Brian Evans, thank you so much, Brian.
Thank you
so much for having
me on.
It's an honor.